Do traditional women still exist in the United States? Hey, Jason here. If you've been watching the channel, lately you've been seeing me doing videos talking about dating as a black man and how to find good black women. And the reason I've been doing these videos, you're seeing so many videos on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram of these passport bros, or even just black guys who are just traveling around the world. And they're talking pretty much bad about black women, how they're undateable, they're not submissive, they're not traditional, they're not living like the biblical times. All of these things that doesn't make any sense. And so one of the things reason why I wanted to do these videos, I want to share with you from the perspective of a black man who was married to a black American woman. We were married for 10 years. We were together a total of 15 years. And we had a successful marriage until the day she passed away. The only reason I am single to this day is because she passed away 2 years ago in 2022. And please hear that. She passed away in 2022. So this isn't some generational thing. Like so many people have been talking about things like, oh, you're from a different generation. I'm going to just go through and talk about some of these things. And so let's go ahead and get into today's video. And so the first thing is you have to understand your dating pool. Now, I pulled up a definition for it, and if you watch any of my videos, we have to learn how to define words, not think that we know what words mean. And so I'm just going to read off right here what is dating pool, because this is very crucial. And this is where most people are making their mistakes, especially black men. If you do not know what dating pool you're choosing from, it's probably why you keep running into the same patterns or behaviors from the women of certain groups. And so let's get into that definition. Dating pool refers to the group of individuals who are considered potential romantic partners within a certain context or criteria. Please hear that part, within a certain context or criteria. This group is typically defined by various factors such as age, location, interest, social circles, and other personal preferences or demographic characteristics. Essentially, the dating pool includes all the people who are available and interested in dating within a specific set of parameters set by an individual or within a given community or area. Now, this is very crucial because one of the things that I believe a lot of people are not looking at the socioeconomic areas that they're dating in. If you want someone who is probably going to be at home at night, who doesn't want to go clubbing, who wants to have a genuine family relationship, you can't be in clubs. And I know people are getting tired of hearing that, but please hear that. You're not going to find that in clubs. Or the odds are, that's what, like maybe one out of maybe 1,000 people you're going to meet in a club. And that goes for men and women. If you're someone who's on the nightlife, that's not going to build a good relationship. It's just not. Put yourself in the shoes of if you're married. Like, even if you're single right now, put yourself in the shoes of you're married. Do you want your wife? Do you want your husband out in the clubs every night, especially on the weekends? No. You're going to want to spend family time together. You may want to go to a date night. You may want to go to a nice restaurant. You may want to go for a walk in the park. Simple things like that. You have to start really identifying what do you want your relationship to look like. And when you start defining what you want your relationship to look like, this is how you can start forming where you need to find your dating pool. Now, I'm someone who's been traveling. My wife and I, we lived in Panama and Colombia, Medellin, Colombia. That's where she passed away in 2022. Now, I've lived in South Korea. I've lived in South Africa for a year. I lived in Botswana, and now I'm in Zambia in the southern region of Africa. I have been dating in South Africa, did a little bit of dating in Colombia after she passed away. And I'll be honest with you, the reason why I left Colombia, and I'm going to be doing some videos telling you about Colombia also, I left because there was just too many painful memories, like the first time we went to this place, the first time we went to this restaurant, and it was just really saddening for me. And so that's why I left Colombia. You can find great women in Colombia and pretty much anywhere in the world, I'm going to be real with you. But within that socioeconomic, like most people don't understand this because every country I go to, people always give me these horror stories. Oh, stay away from these people. Like, let me give you South Africa for an example. When I first got to South Africa, everyone was like, stay away from coastal women, stay away from slave queens. And I'm like, I was like, well, who are they? Well, tell me more about them. And when they was explaining the type of lifestyle they like, I was like, yeah, I'm not going to really run into these women. And as far as the slave queen is, like I tell everybody, I've never ran into a slave queen in South Africa. I don't go out clubbing. I went to family friendly events, a lot of marketplaces in the daytime. And I met wonderful women all over the place, from every different background, including coastal women. And the reason why I'm sharing that little tidbit is that is how important the dating pool is. You cannot just summarize and generalize a whole group or demographic of people and say this is who they are. That's not true. Everybody don't like the nightlife. Everybody don't like drinking. Everybody don't like the fast lane. There's plenty of people who do not like going to fancy places. Like there's so much more to dating than what a lot of people think. And I think this goes back into social media has ruined the perception of a lot of people because so many people are seeing the things that look good on social media and they're going after that. Oh, I want that. I want that Nash. I want that her to look like that. And you're not looking at the socioeconomic places where you're going. And this is very crucial. And this is where one of the things I want to talk about is, so many guys are saying, oh, the black women are not traditional anymore. That's not true. Black women are not like the biblical times anymore. Let's be very clear, very clear. And this is going to tie up with also generation because people was like, oh, well, you're from a different generation. Dating is dating. Nothing has ever changed. I don't care if you're born in the 1920s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, up to the the early 2000s. Dating is dating. Nothing has changed except the access of information that has been given to us. Like, let's say, like the Maury Povich show, that ruined a lot of perceptions of people, especially guys trusting women. But I guarantee you, if you had DNA tests back in the 60s, 50s, 70s, you would still have a lot of people not knowing who their real biological father is. That just is what it is. And this goes all throughout human history. And then the other thing is now we're in this culture where it's easy to be a 304 and get instant clout or get a big following. But let's be honest here. Mary Magdalene was a 304 in the Bible. Like, it's the same stuff that exists, guys. Like, please hear me on that. Nothing has changed about dating. It has always been hard for people to get dates. It's always been hard for people to trust one another. These things have never changed. Nothing is new under the sun. I know, like, because we feel like we have access to more technology, information, things like that. Nothing is different. Read some of these old books. Like, go through some of these old dating books. Nothing is different. Like, please hear me on that. And it's not like women just after women started being born in the year 2000, they just instantly something changed in their brain. No, there's still great traditional women out there, whatever you consider as traditional, because you have to define it for yourself. You can find women who are submissive to a relationship, as you can also find guys who are submissive to a relationship. Please hear the way I worded that. Submissive to a relationship. The woman is not supposed to be submissive to the guy. The guy is not supposed to be submissive to the woman. You're both supposed to be submissive to the relationship. You're creating a new foundation. You're taking the foundation of you being single and her being single. You're breaking it, parts of it, and you're combining the parts left to create a foundation for the relationship. No relationship will last on a shaky foundation. If one person's giving their all and the other person's not, that person is going to get burnt out. They're going to get tired. They're going to be nagging. They're going to be angry. And then eventually they're going to want to leave. Like, if you listen to some of the guys, and like I like talking to a lot of older guys, especially older married guys, whether they were divorced or not, because they spread a lot of wisdom. And I'm not talking about the bitter guys. There's a whole group now of just bitter men out there that I'm perfect. I don't do nothing wrong. That's bullshit. I made plenty of mistakes in my relationship and I started working on those mistakes. I started actively pursuing to be a better guy and be a better husband. If you speak to those guys who are honest and understand the mistakes they made, whether, yes, maybe they were working too much. Yes, maybe the family structure wasn't as much of a priority as they should have made it. Maybe they didn't pay enough attention to the spouse. All of those different things. You will learn those key mistakes on things not to do. One of the big things that, and this was in while I was in Colombia. He's a good friend of mine, and he gave me a lot of great advice. We would talk along. I used to ask him, like, because he was married but ended up getting divorced, and he would tell me, like, hey, I made mistakes, and I respect that. And I started asking him questions, like, hey, what are some things that I can do? And one of the things advice he gave me is like, don't let too many people in your marriage. Do not let too many people into your relationship. Everybody don't need to know who your wife is. Everybody don't need to be around you all. And I really took that to heart. And I felt like I was doing something right, because at first I was like, feeling bad that, oh, maybe my wife, I need to bring more friends around or do something. You know how everybody give you this advice of, you need to be social, you need to have friends. And it was refreshing hearing it from the perspective of someone who said, maybe you don't need to do that. And it was one of the things that really helped our marriage even get more, because that time, instead of us spending with others, we were spending it together. And in the beginning, when two people are coming together, like, it's awkward. They'll get those silent spaces where it's like, am I supposed to entertain her, or am I supposed to entertain him every day? And then you get more and more comfortable to understand, okay, let's have some separate time. We're in the same house. And then all of a sudden you start missing and longing each other, even when you're in the same house doing something else. Like when she would go, Cece would used to go watch Grey's Anatomy. I may be watching anime or reading a book. And then all of a sudden I just go lay in bed with her and watch a little couple episodes of Grey's Anatomy. That is building the strong foundation of a healthy marriage. So, like, really hear that part. Like, if you want that traditional biblical, I don't know which verses y'all are reading, where y'all seeing all this traditional biblical stuff, share with me in the comments down below. But if you want that, you have to start doing it. You have to put in the work. You can't just snap your fingers or sign a piece of paper and say, oh, we're married, you need to be traditional and biblical. That doesn't work like that. And that's just insanity. Let's just be honest. And then let's go into the most important part is, where are you choosing a partner to date from? Take your time. Like, where are you actually choosing to date from? If you heard the story that I just shared about being in Johannesburg, South Africa, you didn't hear me say anything about a groove. You didn't hear me say anything about a nightclub. None of those things. Do that mean that I don't go out every once in a while? Sometimes I do. Like, I used to go to the strip club in Johannesburg. I'm not going there to date somebody. I'm not looking for a potential wife. No, I'm just there. It'll be me and my buddies. We maybe have, I didn't have a drink. They would have a drink. We'll sit, talk, chit chat, and then go home. But the thing is, I was not looking for a partner there. That is not my dating pool. My dating pool was at nice restaurants, such as different vegan restaurants. My dating pool was also someone who prefers to be out during the day and home at night. So I went to marketplaces in the daytime. Like, I think this weekend there's the Linden Market in Johannesburg, South Africa. Great place to actually meet beautiful single women there. Great place for women to meet good guys there. And I met people from these places all the time. If you saw my TikTok, I was doing so many videos at different marketplaces, and I was always meeting wonderful women there. And you can do that too. Like, it don't mean you have to go to South Africa to do it. You can do that within the United States. What kind of public trading events going on? Professional development events? What kind of marketplaces are going on? What kind of pop-up places going on? There are food truck places. Like, really look and see. And remember, it goes back to this dating pool. And pick which criteria that best suit you. And let me just read them again. Age, location, interest. Interest. What are some things that you are interested in? What are some things that you want your partner to be interested in? Like those things, like if you're a comic book person, you may need to go to Comic Con. Like, I'm not being funny. You may need to go to Comic Con or Anime Fest, things like that. I go to those places. Guess what? I meet single women who are into comics and anime. We have great conversations. What are the social circles? Like, do you want someone in a social circle that's just drinking and partying? Or do you want someone in a social circle that's maybe in a book club? Someone that's in exercise? Like, if you want someone who's fit and living this type of lifestyle, you have to do that too. You have to be in those circles. They're not coming to you. That old field of dreams myth, if you build it, they will come. No, no one is coming. You must go find what you want in this world. No one is coming and no one is going to bring it to you on a platter. And then personal preferences, demographic characteristics. If you do not like black women, don't date black women. If you don't like white women, don't date white women. If you don't like Asian women, don't date Asian women. Like, this is just common sense stuff. Don't bash them just because they're not your preference. But like, what is your dating pool? And the last thing, quit caring about what other people think about you. Find that person that's going to complete you and make you happy. Find the yin to your yang. Like, so many of us are so self-conscious about what our family, our friends, and even now with what social media think. Oh, my wife got to do this. She got to have a BBL. She got to be doing this. She need to be cooking and cleaning. I'm going to tell every guy out here, if you have enough money to pay for a cook and a maid, you do not want your woman cooking and cleaning. It is the last thing you want. Because when you see her cooking and cleaning, you know you could pay someone to do that. You're going to be looking at it like, man, this is time we could be somewhere else. You know how many times I had my maids and my cooks cooking for me in Colombia and in Panama, and we will either go somewhere, go on like a staycation at a hotel, go ride the bus somewhere, go to a park, an amusement park, a museum. I didn't want my wife cooking and cleaning. And I'm telling you, as a guy, if you may say you want a wife that's cooking and cleaning, but once you can actually afford that, you don't want your woman cooking and cleaning. You're going to start seeing, wait, while she's doing all of this is time we could be spending together, doing something way more productive. And so I just wanted to share that with you. If you have any comments or any questions, leave them down below. And like always, if you are someone who are in a successful marriage, leave comments down below. Leave, men or women, leave comments down below and let some of these single guys and girls know, what are you doing? Like, we have to start changing this narrative that's being out here. We have to stop allowing these single people hustling you all to tell you, this is what you're supposed to do. This is what you need to look for. A man's supposed to provide this. A woman's supposed to do this. These people are not in healthy, happy relationships, and they sure as hell not in a healthy, happy marriage. So if you're in a healthy, happy marriage, leave comments below. If you were in a marriage and it didn't work out, but you have worked through that pain and you understand maybe some of the things that you did wrong, leave that down below too. We can learn faster from the mistakes of others. And so I just wanted to share that with you. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.